Hello basketball coaches and basketball players, my name is Alan from Al's Basketball Training, and today I'm going to give you some of my favorite sideline inbounds plays for youth basketball teams. Let's get down to the clipboard and let's check these out. Okay, so in this first play, we're going to be having just a straight line. It's going to be very simple, and what we are going to try and do is get player 1 open or player 3 open along the sideline over there. Now, our number one option is to get player 1 open and over here, because if you get the ball down here, there's a possibility for a trap. So what we're going to be having is player 3 and 2 collapsing in and player 1 popping up. That is our number one option. If he gets the ball, then we can set up our offense. If he doesn't get the ball, let's say he's not open, player 2 switched off, or player 1 was able to fight through, whatever it may be, we're now going to be having player 3 and 2 turn and set a staggered screen for player 4 to pop by or pop through along the sideline to receive that inbounds pass. Now, when that happens, I want player 1 to set a screen for player 5 and that lob pass to come over to player 5. The reason for that is because now, at least we're away from the sideline. We can have a dribble handoff or just a pass over to player 1 to set up our offense. Now, in this next play, what we're going to have is player 2. He's going to be screening down for player 1, and we're going to be having player 4 set a screen for player 3. We're going to have player 1 and 3 cross, and now our number one option again is player 1 to get that ball, and our backup option is player 3, and we want him to stay away from the sideline. We want this to be inside the three-point line. That way, if we have to, we can now set up our offense if he doesn't have an open shot. So essentially what we're doing here is for player 1 to get the ball to set up the offense, and player 3 to get the ball, if he does, to take a quick shot. Now, when he's taking his shot, I want player 4 to be going onto the opposite side, because usually from shots from this angle, when they hit the rim, they tend to bounce off to the other side. So we want player 4 to fight down to get that rebound, because there's nobody else on this side of the court, which will allow him, if he doesn't have a player defending him, to have an open layup if player 3 misses. Now you're probably wondering, why do I have player 5 always inbounding the ball? Either player 5, or you may see me doing player 3 with older team plays. Well, what we're going to be doing, what I like to have player 5 down here for, inbounding the ball, is because player 5 is generally the strongest player on the court, and at the youth level, I classify the youth level being under 10, under 11, somewhere in that range. They're generally able to pass the ball harder and farther. Now this next one is another favorite of mine. The reason for that is because it's a line farther away from the sideline, and this allows you to have more room to operate. So we're going to have player 4 setting a screen down for player 1, who's going to be popping up top, roughly in this area, so that he can receive the inbounds pass. Now if he's open, definitely hit him up. You can set up your offense. But our backup option is, when this first screen is happening, we're also going to be having player 2 set a screen down for player 3, who's going to be popping over here. Now, if player 1 gets that ball, you can either set up the offense, or what I like to do as well is, let's say player 1 got through, player 3 got through, whatever. What I like to do as a secondary option is for player 4 to set a screen for player 2. Player 2 uses that screen. Player 3 sets a screen for player 5, and player 5 can pop down somewhere in that area for either player 2 to take that 3-point or high mid-range shot, or he can pass down to player 5 for that layup. So there's a couple of different options for sideline inbounds plays, but also some very great secondary options if we get the ball inbounded to certain areas. Now here's another play, and one more play that I know you're going to love. Okay, so in this play, what we're going to be having is player 2. He's going to be cutting down towards the baseline, and at the same time, we're going to be having player 1 running up the middle of the key. Now he's going to be running up, and we're going to be having player 3 and 4. They're going to be collapsing on his defender, so that now he is wide open down here. Player 1 is able to get that ball from player 5, and he can set up the offense. Or what next could happen is player 2 is going to set a back screen for player 5. We're now going to be having player 1 dribble out towards this left side of the court. Player 5 is going to be using player 2 as a screen. We're now going to be having player 4 and 3 set a wall screen, what I like to call a wall screen, which just basically means two players screening shoulder to shoulder for player 1's man. Player 1 is going to dribble out towards this left side, and he's going to hit up player 5 somewhere in that area, and he should be open for that layup. Now let's just jump over to some quick baseline inbounds plays that I know your team is going to really succeed and win more games with. So this is against a man-to-man defense, and what we're going to be having here is player 2. He's going to be setting a screen up for player 3, and player 3 is going to be cutting down towards the net, towards the baseline. At the same time, we're going to be having player 1 running up and around player 4, and player 4 is going to be setting that screen, and player 1 is going to curl around towards the free throw line extended on the ball side. Now, our number one option is obviously player 3 for the layup. I personally love getting layups off of baseline inbounds, but our backup option is player 1 in case player 3 is not open. Now, as a third option in case both of these players are covered, is going to be player 2 popping out towards this low corner. The reason why this is our third option is because, like I was mentioning before, along these corners, there's usually double teams that happen off of an inbounds play. This next play is really great for very young teams who are playing up against a 2-3 zone defense. Now, I personally am not a huge fan of the 2-3 at the young level or at the youth level, but anyways, we tend to always have this happen where we have players or teams running a zone defense at this level. So what we are going to be doing is we're going to be having player 3. He's going to be cutting up to the top as kind of like our lob secondary option. We're going to be having player 4 screen player 2. Player 2 is going to come down and screen player 4. Most likely the defense is going to look like this. And we're going to be having player 1 pop out towards this side, ideally at the free throw line extended. He's going to receive that ball, and with player 3 popping up top, these players, player 2 and 4, are going to be trying to force their way through to defend player 1 out on the perimeter. Now, what we're going to be having after this screen is player 3 being wide open possibly up top for a 3-point shot. Of course, if your team can hit those. At this time, we can have both of these players run our offense, and we're also going to be having player 5 cutting out, and if he can hit long-range shots, he may be open right there in the mid-range free throw line extended area. Now, I hope that these plays help your team win more games. If they do, let us know in the comment section below. I would love to hear from you, and I would love to see you guys again in our next video, which is going to be later on today. I post twice a day.